true? And it's true. Tonight in Project Energy, a Minnesota inventor says he'll never need to buy gasoline again. It's that simple. Meet the man about to change everything about the way we drive.
This is the magnetic transmission that's the heart of the whole thing.
A magnetic transmission running on a 100 horsepower DC motor.
Instead of having a gas cap in here, we'd have a plug in here so that you just plug in here for your battery charger.
It's not the first time inventor Bob Albertson has tried to promote the idea of an electric car.
We tried it back in 1970, but there wasn't a market for it then like there is right now. That's why we went back into it here 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago the United Auto Workers asked Bob to convert a Ford Ranger pickup. They wanted to convince Ford to keep the St. Paul plant and start making 100% electric vehicles. And out of Bob's garage comes a truck that can reach speeds of 80 miles per hour and travel 100 miles on a battery charge.
With the transmission here, we have 5 speeds forward, so I can actually put it in low gear where you'd have the same amount of pulling power that you would if this had a gas engine in it.
But the all-electric Ford Ranger is more than just good for the environment. In addition to ending our addiction on foreign oil, it's basically maintenance-free. Look under the hood at a regular Ranger. Bob eliminates 29 parts.
By going total electric, you eliminated all of it. Basically, you'll have a maintenance-free car because you don't have to change oil, you don't have to do tune-ups, there's no air filters, air cleaners, anything like that needs to be changed.
And there's more. Bob has a plan to recharge the batteries while driving. He'll convert the power created by bumps on the road using what he calls a vibrant generator.
We feel we can get another 70% longer mileage life out of those batteries because what we're generating back to the batteries from the bump of the road, the bumper the road, the more power we're going to bring back to those batteries.
Bob believes now is the time for his all-electric car. He's watched his other inventions start small and go big.
I just found it at the string trimmer.
There's the weed whacker, the automatic drip coffee maker, and the pulsating shower massager. Bob has more than 200 patents to his name.
I've licensed or sold out 47 products to companies, and every one of these products is still on the market. I have never licensed or sold out a product that is not still on the market. Some of the products are bigger hits than others, but I've never come up with a bad one.
The Ranger is powered by electric trolling motor batteries, the kind you find on a boat. What does Bob know about such things? Well, he invented the electric trolling motor.
Living on Lake Minnetonka, I said, why can't we have an electric motor? Why do I have to have a gas? So that's when I came up with the electric trolling motor.
And you know those socket wrenches that the astronauts use to fix the Hubble telescope on their spacewalks? Yeah, Bob invented those too.
They say if it's too good to be true.
Bob Albertson, Jeff Basso, Channel 9. So we're on late here today. We had a nice day finally, so I got to do some yard work. I'm out with one of those weed whacker things, you know, with the fish line that takes care of the weeds.
I invented that.
You invented it? Yeah. Well, anyway, so after I get done with that, you know, I was kind of hunched over doing it all afternoon there, and my neck got dead sore, my shoulder, so I went in the shower, and we have one of those pulsating shower massage things, and
I invented that also.
you invented that? Yeah. Well, anyway, I finally got to work after I was doing some of that, and I got a chance to just sit down, take it easy, have a cup of coffee. So I go to the vending machine. It's really something the way that thing drops down. You can get yourself a fresh cup of coffee these days. It's just amazing, I think.
Well, I invented that also.
Turns out Bob Albertson has invented all kinds of stuff, like gas pump handles, car starting units, shocks on snowmobiles, the kill switch, on wet bikes too, high pressure car wash, even a hydraulic door closer. Countless common items we see every day from a man who tinkers with stuff in his shop at home on Lake Minnetonka.
One night I had a 3 o'clock in the evening dream, and the next day I made up the weed whacker. I just went out and got some fish line. This happens to be a Dayton sewing machine motor.
began making it big in the invention business when he was a teenager. In 1955, he designed this contraption. It became something you see in most cars today, the cassette tape player.
I was 18 years old, and I got $10,000 for it, which in those days was good money.
When Bob Albertson sits down at the drawing board, there's no telling what he might come up with. Like this all-terrain vehicle he designed after seeing how rescuers failed to save someone who fell through the ice. It goes on land, ice, and water.
Bob, you look at all these things that you've invented, and I have to ask you, have you ever had a real job? Well, sort of a real job, but my real job has been inventing and selling products out to companies.
He also spent a little time breaking up one big company. Frustrated while owning a payphone business on the side, he made headlines in 1984 as the inventor who took on Bell and won. His lawsuit led to the breakup of a monopoly known as AT&T.
So how many things have you invented? I've got over 200 patents to my name. 200? Yeah. Come on over here and I'll show you some others.
Bob's bureau cleared socket wrench works in very tight places. An item that took off when he sold it to NASA. Now it's also being used by the U.S. military. And Bob's latest idea? That old pulsating shower head, beefed up for a new use. The pulsating pressure washer. In the coming days, we'll be seeing another of Bob's inventions. What started out in 1966 as a bunch of metal and wires hooked up to an old car starter has become a boating staple, the electric trolling motor. Over 200 patents that have earned Bob hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it could have been even more.
If I had retained the patent on the weed whacker, I'd made millions. If I retained the patent on the pulsating shower massage, I would have made millions there. So is there anything that you wish you could invent, some idea that you'd like to come up with and you can't? Well, I have another one right now, but I just can't talk about it right now.
Can't talk about it. Tonight, you might not know his name, but you'll be surprised at how he's played a big part in all our lives.
Excellent. With that, let's give a standing welcome to Millie Country.
I think those two videos kind of gave a pretty good idea of some of the things I've done. I started inventing when I was 15 years old. That's when I did Mr. Coffee. And I'm going to give you a little experience to what happened. In my confirmation class, I went to Mount Olivet Church, 50th and James, and the minister there was Dr. Youngdahl, and he was my confirmation teacher. And one day at confirmation, I asked him, I said, "Can I come in and talk to you, Reverend Youngdahl?" He said, "Sure." I says, "Why is everything you do around here just explode?" I mean, when my parents first joined that church, there was 150 people. Back then, when it was confirmation class, we're up to about 8,000. Today, it's over 13,000. I says, "Why does everything work so good? Everything just, everything you do just explodes." He says, "Bob, I go upstairs for the answers." I says, "What do you mean go upstairs?" He says, "I go upstairs to God." So he taught me, or coached me, as far as how to go upstairs and get your ideas. And the thing is that you got to realize we're one of many planets. We're not the only one in the universe. And what I do is go upstairs at night in a dream. I program myself ahead of time, and about 3 o'clock every morning I wake up after having a dream, whatever I ask for, and I go to my little desk and I work it out, make copies and things like that, and go back to bed maybe at 4 or 5 in the morning, get up at 8. But the thing is that I learned this, how to bring in these ideas and go upstairs for the answers. And that's how I did these products. People look at me and says, "Well, how in the world did you design and make and invent a coffee maker at 15 years old? How did you go and do a water pick shower massage when you're 16 years old? How did you do an 8-track tape player when you're, for Bill Lear, when you're 18 years old. You know, I says, well, you never went, I went to school, graduated from high school from St. Louis Park, but I never went to college. Well, how did you do all this? Well, this is what I try to explain to my people, that this is what I do. And just to back up a little bit, because of my inventions and what have you, Bill McKnight, CEO of 3M, heard about me, invited me over, and he says, Bob, how would you like to be a problem solver for 3M? And I says, I guess I could do that. He said, well, I'm going to give you some projects here. We've got some engineers here that have spent thousands of hours, they can't make it work or can't perfect it. And I said, okay. So he says, well, here's a Scotch tape dispenser we make, you know, we've heard of Scotch tape with 3M. He says, they got lead weights in here so that when you go to pull the thing across, you know, it don't slide across the desk. He says, we got so much money in this, why do we have to put lead in here and suction cups on it? He says, find a better way to cut costs on this. So I says, well, okay, he gave me half a dozen. He said, go home and see what you can do. Well, I knew what I was going to do before I even left the office. And so, but I waited 2 weeks so I could run up the bill. So I come back with these, you know, and he's putting it on his desk like that, and he pulls the tape off. Works. What'd you do? I says, here. What is that? That's sand. I filled it up with sand. I said, how would you come up with that idea? I said, well, look down there. There's a big pile of sand, this 13th floor. I said, I got the idea of putting sand in when I was here to begin with, and I went home and made some models. Well, today, all the Scotch tape dispensers like this all have sand in them. Another project I did, ever hear of Post-its? Okay. Well, Post-its, one of their employees there, Mr. Fry, he used to like to go around and put notes on the people's desk or whatever, happy birthday, Sandy, or what have you. And so he said, you know, if we could put glue on these things, so all you got to do is just, you know, go up something like this or go on you know, wallpaper or what have you like that, and it's going to stick. Heck of an idea. We don't have to use Scotch tape then. This will be, you know, the glue will be part of the paper. Well, they spent 7 years trying to come up with a glue that would not harden. It had to be a glue that would never, you know how glues are after a period of time, they dry and then, you know, you can't get it off. So they had to come with a glue that if you put it on fabric or wallpaper, you go to take it off, it's not going to take the wallpaper with it. So he says, figure out a glue that don't harden. Okay. What took me 2 weeks? It took me 1 day, but I had, you know, run up the bill again. So I came up with a glue for them that does never harden. This product is 15% of 3M's gross business. And the thing is, well, you know, I can't talk about what's in it, but this is a trade secret of 3M. This is why you go out there to Office Max or anybody, there's no competition, or they do have a private label one, because nobody has been able to figure out how this glue works. It's done in a special room at 3M where there's only a few people that do the mixing, and then it goes out in the barrels where it goes to the production table where they actually put the glue on. But this has been around for how many years now, and nobody's ever been able to figure out how this glue works. Wow. I do, but I can't talk about it. So that's, I'm getting into some of the things that I've done. This is a weed eater here. This is the original prototype that you saw, and that. And some of the things I've done, like here's the wrench that you saw, you talked about. This wrench I developed a number of years ago, back in the late 90s, and went in production on this wrench. And I had, my biggest account I had was Napa stores, 6,800 of them. But I was running like 90 to 120 days behind on orders. So Napa came to me and they said, Bob, you got to do something. We can't tolerate this 90, 120 day and then not having product. So I said, well, then I'm going to go out and find a big company that can make and fund this, so I can take care of you. So I went out and found a company known as, in Minneapolis here, Minnetonka, called Pedders Worldwide. You ever hear of Tom Pedders? So I licensed the company. And what my agreement was is that I would stay there for 1 year and get the product going and up and running there. And at the end of 1 year, I sold out the product to them for $20 million. Now I was going to take it on a 5-year payoff. So basically what it was is that at the end of 1 year, 2 weeks before I was going to start getting my payments, the feds come in and lock the place up because he was running a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, no.
So this got tied up until 2 years ago. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't sell it. I couldn't because this was all tied up in court. So then finally here, about 2 years ago, I got the product back. But the thing was that I owned all the tooling and everything. I had a full line of product, not just wrenches, but sockets and everything else. All the tooling I had made, and it was over. We made this product in Taiwan. So because of the bankruptcy, I lost all the tooling and everything else, which is millions of dollars worth. And then now I'm back in the business here, and I've got a few investors right in. And then what we've done is gone out. One thing I did, I licensed a company known as Channel Lock Allied. And this is a low-end wrench. This is like goes to your box stores like Menards or Home Depot and some of those others. And so I sell them. I have the product in there. And here's the wrench, and then got it with all the sockets. And I get so much on every one sold. We first now went into here to Sam's Club. We put 54,000 in, sold out in 2.5 weeks. Now we're building for Tractor Supply, which has 1,600 stores. And that's right now, we'll be about 250,000 of these that are going into Tractor Supply. And from there, we're going to Advance Auto, which is 13,000 stores, and so forth and so on. Then I've got this one right here. This is what we call is the titanium. This is a cheaper one. This is the high end for like the professional mechanic, like you see with Stamp-On and what have you. And this product here I have a patent on is impregnated gold handle. And the bore inside is impregnated, so it strengthens the wrench by up to 150 to 180% over ANSI. And you see the color gold here. Well, what happened was that I told people, I said, I applied for a patent on gold handle on a wrench. You'll never get it. You can't get a patent, a registration on the color gold for a handle. Well, this is the patent that was granted this last July. It's worth a fortune because now the fact is that I've got product identity. So the thing is that these are just some of the products that I've had. All your pressure washer, your high pressure washers, like you have at home, to plug in and whatever. That's my inventions, the pump. We sold out at the Delavan. Mr. Koff 8-track tape player. I did that for Bill Lear, and I got paid $10,000 on that. String trimmer, I did that for Toro. Parts cleaner was Goodall Corporation, and the door closer there was for Hartzell Corporation. So these are just some of the products that I've had, and like I said before, or we said in the news articles, that I've licensed out 47 products to companies. All 47 are still on the market today, except some are doing better than others. I've never licensed out or come up with a product that I've gone out and says, hey, you'll make money with it, and it hasn't. So let's see, how do I go to the next one?
The left or right button there.
Oh, okay. Okay. What we have here is another company I'm just reformulating right now, and that one of the products is a decal. It's got special material that you put on your phone. And what it'll do is when you plug your phone in to charge the battery, we can charge up to 50% faster. Another thing too, it'll hold the charge in the battery. You want to just mention what I got one guy in testimonial.
I've got one on here, yeah, because of the Apple updates that came in and drained the battery. It was draining, and I didn't understand why it was draining so fast. Like within an hour or two, the whole thing was gone. Somebody explained why. Apple ended up going to court because of a class action lawsuit. They coerced us. Well, I happened to get one of those stickers. I call it a sticker. The girls asked, "What's in that sticker?" I don't know. I don't care. Because actually, it's like I have a new battery. That's how well it works.
Yeah, what we've done right now, we've put quite a few of these out that we've manufactured prototypes to various individuals like yourself to get the feedback. And so one of the things that we found, we get up, so when you plug your phone in, you can get up, it'll charge up to 50% faster. Also, because of, sometimes you get out in an area where you're not getting a good signal by just pointing your phone out here, because we capture the signal from the tower better, so that you get in an area where you're not getting good reception, will increase the antenna strength so that you get a better signal, so you don't, the phone won't just stop on you, and that. So that's one of the problems. We'll get into that a little better here. We also, alkaline battery, I'm going to get into that, and the magnetic battery charger, and then also the fuel cell. I'll get that. So again, back here again is the charge booster. What we're doing right now, we have a company that's set up right now locally, and they have funded about $50,000 worth of tooling and everything else to run this decal on their machine. The machine's about 40 feet long. It's about $1 million machine. The machine now is set up with the tooling and everything. We could run 125,000 of these in an 8-hour period, or over 300,000 in a day. And so the thing is that we've got right now, because they're in their label company, they build for Skippy and Best Buy and all those, they're going after their clients right now. As an example, we're negotiating with like Batteries Plus, Target, and Best Buy, and many of these others right now. And we expect that, well, the market is huge. And the thing is that you can see what the market is. Verizon has 150 million customers. AT&T 141. You can imagine if every one of those customers bought one of these charge boosters from AT&T and that. 62% of everybody in the country has a cell phone. The market is, this is the biggest product I've ever come up with, because you can see the need and the distribution and the amount of people that can buy it. You look at, when you go into a business and develop a product, is there a market for it? Is it priced right? Can you make them fast enough? That's why I have a company right now that's invested about 50 grand into tooling and setups and that, because they've tested the product and saw that it works. And so, and they're willing to put in more equipment as we get more orders. But we're going to be starting this coming week, running a small production room, because we have to get several out to like the Best Buy and Batteries Plus and Target. Some of those, they want to get a sample of the product so they can do further testing on it and give us, and so we expect that we'll probably be getting it, we'll go after them probably by next month or two and get a big order out of them. And the thing is that you can see about the features of it and so forth and so on. And the materials in here are non-toxic. There's not anything in there that's going to cause any problems. But we're saying here we can do 125,000 in a day. And we have a company right now, I mentioned, that's doing our production for us right now. And so what we're doing there is that we're licensed them to run every one they make is they give me $3. Their production right now, they can do 125,000 in an 8-hour period. That's over 300,000 in a day. So 300,000 a day times $3, that's $1 million a day royalty to me and a couple of my investors that we're working with. So the market is just tremendous. Then along this company also, I said they're going after and taking the sales on certain markets that they're already into and selling. Then we'll be going after other cell phone carriers such as Verizon and the others, or ad specialty people, and license them the same as I licensed this first company here that we're licensing for $3. So, but we'll go global on for all over the world this way. And right now we're looking at raising another $500,000 to promote this and go global with it. Then also we have right here is the battery. everybody's familiar with your cell phone batteries and alkaline batteries. Alkaline batteries only got a certain shelf life, maybe 3, 4, 5 years or so forth and so on, and they're toxic. Your landfills today are just loaded with toxic batteries. What do you do with them? You can't recycle them, don't pay to recycle them, and so forth and so on. What we're saying right now, recycling alkaline batteries in 2015 it was 4%, while we're talking about 40% by 2025, but who's going to do that? So well, I've come up with a battery right now that uses a replacement of this. The chemicals in here is non-toxic, and we have about 20%, tests are showing a 20% more output, and the cost of doing so is about no more than what an alkaline battery would be, but it'll be friendly to the environment, no toxic materials in it, and it'll have more output and have a longer shelf life.